Hey, Ashley.
Hey, Taryne.
Sup, girl?
What's up? That was terrible.
Sup, girl?
Goyle.
Since it's like I've been definitely feeling like summer vibes. I was looking up summer-related fun facts.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah. Did you know, or actually guess, how the record-breaking free diver, how long they can hold their breath for?
Okay, I'm pretty sure a dolphin can hold their breath for 15 minutes. I'm going to assume a human can't do that. So I'm going to go under 10. Actually, I'm going to go 10. No, there's no way. I'm going to go 8.
Okay, well, you totally underestimated Budimir Svenovat because in March 2021, a 56-year-old set a Guinness World Record by holding his breath for an incredible 24 minutes and 37 seconds.
Oh my God.
How is that even possible?
That's longer than a dolphin.
I don't think I could for like 2 minutes. Today's episode is brought to you by Indeed. Is hiring challenging? Yes. Do you love a good challenge? Also, yes. You need a hiring partner that can help you rise to the challenge. You need Indeed.
Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites searching for candidates with the right skills, Indeed's a powerful hiring platform that can help you do it all. They streamline hiring with powerful tools that find you matched candidates. And with Instant Match, over 80% of employers get quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment that they sponsor a job, according to Indeed Data US. One of the things I love the most about Indeed is that the candidates that you invite to apply are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it in search, according to US Indeed data. And Indeed gets you one step closer to hire by immediately matching you with quality candidates.
Start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/unsolicited. Offer good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit now at Indeed.com/unsolicited. Just go to Indeed.com/unsolicited and support the show by saying you heard about it on this podcast. Indeed.com/unsolicited. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Today's episode is brought to you by Simply Safe. When an intruder threatens your home, every second counts. It's why we are so excited to tell you about the latest innovation from Simply Safe Home Security. It's called 24/7 Live Guard Protection, and it's made possible only by Simply Safe's new Smart Alarm wireless indoor camera. Now, with a Fast Protect monitoring plan, if an intruder breaks into your home, Simply Safe monitoring agents can actually see, speak to, and deter them through the camera, warning them that they're being recorded and that police are on the way. It's a game changer in home security.
The new camera is also the only indoor security camera that can trigger the alarm and instantly deter intruders with a built-in siren. With 24/7 live guard protection and the new Smart Alarm indoor camera works seamlessly as part of the entire Simply Safe security system to keep your whole home safe from break-ins, fires, flooding, and more.
Right now, Unsolicited Advice listeners get a special 20% off any Simply Safe system when you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring. This huge offer is for a limited time. Visit simplysafe.com/advice. That's simplysafe.com/advice. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
I specifically remember in youth group, you would do like summer camps and like do a bunch of like weird stuff that they would have the kids do.
Absolutely.
One of ours was like this big mud bowl, and they in the back lot they like literally brought a tractor and dug out this huge lot of dirt. Like this huge thing of dirt, and then just filled it with water. So it was like a ton of mud. So we did like slip and slides, and we like did a dance in the mud, and we like all like played and got completely covered in dirt mud. And one of the challenges was to hold your breath under the mud. And I remember specifically like my body convulsing because I was trying to hold my breath for so long. And I think that I got like a minute and a half and that was it.
Oh no. I'm for being a singer, I have the worst breath control ever. Like I just cannot hold my breath, but it's because of that. I start panicking.
Yeah. And I was like, relax, calm.
Yeah.
You don't need air.
Yeah.
I did not get far.
You know, where you like hold your breath so you can make a wish. Like halfway through, I'm like,
yeah, I'm like
freaking out.
Slowly letting out a little air to like make it easier, but it's not. It's the worst.
Good Sims. Well, I don't know where I was going to go with that. Let's just start.
Happy summer. It is. I don't know where you guys are listening from, but it has officially become summer in LA. And it's weird. It happened overnight. Like I just woke up one day and the sun was shining, and the day before it was like gloomy and gray all day long.
I was gonna say it still isn't like full blown because we still are having that weird weather where it's like one day it's hot, the next day it's cold.
Yeah,
nights are really cold. So
nights are chilly.
That's if I could have my perfect day, it would be like in the 70s but super sunny. And not where you're like sweating, but you could still just like be comfortably outside. And then the second it hits like 7 p.m., it starts going down and then it's like brisk at night. That's my perfect weather day.
So it was my friend's birthday yesterday. And I think yesterday was perfect weather day because it was high 70s. I laid out by the pool all day. It was warm, but not too hot where I was like dying, you know, or having to be in the water the whole time. Then we changed, got ready for dinner, and it was a little chilly.
I love it.
And I was like, this is the perfect day.
I have like a walk-in closet, and one half of my closet is all jackets. Every time I buy a new jacket, I'm like, what are you buying this for?
Yeah. Who's this for?
Like, you don't need 6 black jackets. But I'm like, yeah, but this one's fuzzy. This
one's leather. This one has tassels on it.
Anyways, how are you, Ash?
I'm so good. Before we get into everything, just really want to just like talk to the audience for a second. Would love if you check out our socials. Follow us there at Unsolicited Advice Pod on our socials. Also, if you guys have a story that you want advice on or you want to share, or maybe a dramatic one or even a funny one, stop what you're doing right now. Email us at, what's the email, Taryne?
adviceunsolicitedpod@gmail.com.
Nice. Are you reading it? Were you literally looking at it? I always try to like catch you off guard.
No, right when you were, because we both suck at it. If I call you, if I ask you to say it, you're like, and if you ask me, so you started talking about email. So I was like, I'm going to just look. But luckily I have my email for today pulled up and it's on there. So
I mean, it must be so nice for the podcasts out there that have like one name for all of their socials and stuff like that. What a dream.
Took unsolicited advice at gmail.com.
Yeah, back off. You back off.
You literally
It's
suck.
Ours. Can we all
give
just
it to us?
Can we all just slide into their email and just tell them to knock it off?
And then if they're not like active, can't you like...
I mean, that's how it works on Insta. I don't think emails are the same.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I still have my high school email that's so embarrassing, but it's still very much alive. Kicking with spam. How am I? I think I'm good. Oh, wait, you didn't ask. Or not you
Why
didn't
don't
ask.
You go first, Taryne?
No, I meant you didn't answer because you went straight into that. So you go first. How are you, Ash? I'm like, you didn't ask.
I'm so good. Taryne and I got to do one of the coolest things that our childhood selves just blossomed and thrived over. We got invited by Toyota to go to a Harry Potter event at the Hollywood Bowl where they played the entire last movie, but it was accompanied by the orchestra playing the soundtrack.
Yeah.
So it was a full-blown, not just like a few like quartet orchestra.
Huge.
It was like the actual full-scale orchestra playing the soundtrack to the entire movie.
Yeah.
They got us box seats. We had snacks, and we watched the whole movie at the Hollywood Bowl, and it was a dream. It was so much fun.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. We had a blast. I still have to pay you back for the snacks. I forgot.
Yeah, get on it.
Sorry. But yeah, it was nuts. What was crazy was they were so good that I'm not probably 3/4 of the movie I just was watching the movie. Like, I wasn't even remembering that they were playing. Because even, like, you know, scenes where, like, they're walking through the forest and it's, like, eerie music. Like, they played every single, like, bit of music that there is in a movie.
Yeah.
And it was, like, Deathly Hallows Part 2. Wait, right? And so it's just, like, nuts because that was, like, the heaviest movie. But it was so magical, and we were like crying and laughing, and
all the like sound effects where you'd hear them walking and the music would be like bloop, 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 bloop. You'd look over and you'd see the harp going bloop, bloop, bloop. It was just so fun. And the music was extra loud because it was live. So it really like you felt everything like very impactfully. It was really fun.
Yeah.
I'd say I highly recommend, but I don't know when they're going to do that again.
Yeah, but I think they like do stuff like, at the Hollywood Bowl. They like do stuff like that often.
Yeah, I did a Game of Thrones. My sister got me for my birthday last year, Game of Thrones live tickets, which essentially was the same thing. They basically went through like a montage of the entire show and did the live soundtrack to it, and it was so much fun.
So cool.
So they do stuff like that there.
Yeah.
If you live in LA or if you're visiting.
It's cool. It's really fun.
It is so fun.
And like usually like whatever you go for, everyone there is like a fan too. So like there are people dressed up. There was like certain parts that would happen that everyone would start like screaming.
Which was so fun because it reminded me of like seeing that movie in the theater and how excited everyone was for like Ron and Hermione to kiss.
And then it'd be like quiet and you would just hear someone in the back like, hey, 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 like do like Voldemort's laugh. It was just like so good. It was
or
so
be like, Harry, run or something like that. It was so much fun. So if you're, if you're a Harry Potter nerd, you totally get it. And I feel like it was great.
I just need to start Googling. I don't know why that sounded so weird. Like I love Harry Potter. So I should be searching and being like Harry Potter events near me. Because I feel like stuff happens all the time. Like I'll see TikToks or stories and I'm like, how did those people know about that? Like vintage Disney pop-up. Like, you know what I mean?
Let me tell you, the Camber app.
Oh, well, yeah.
We had some guests on and she created this thing called the Camber app and it tells you what's happening in your city locally. And it was just, it's such a cool concept and it makes it easier than Googling. So you should check it out.
Watch out, Google.
She's coming for you.
Watch out. It's listening right now. So,
Taryne, how are you?
I'm good.
Are you? You didn't say that confidently.
I was trying to like, where you say a sentence slow, hoping that you'll think of what to say next.
For sure, yeah.
I was doing that. Well, first of all, I found my Unsolicited Advice t-shirt.
Oh my God, the original Unsolicited Advice
piece of
t-shirt.
merch, which I think they're still on the website. So if you guys want one, you should definitely. You know what I like about it is it's a very good croppable shirt.
Yes.
Because the print is all at the top in the booby area. And so it's like a good crop shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, I was excited that I found that. I feel like nostalgic in it.
Absolutely. PSA, go check out our merch site. We have stuff there.
Do it. But also it was just funny because I like had a doctor's appointment this morning and I was like walking in just very aware that I'm wearing my own merch.
Right.
And I just was like, somebody asked me about my t-shirt.
Yeah. Just waiting for someone to be like, hey, like, what's that shirt you're wearing?
That's a cool shirt. I'm like, oh, it's this podcast. Yeah, that's okay. So that was kind of a bummer. So my doctor's leaving me. I don't know if I talked about this on here. I don't think I did.
I don't know.
Anyways, I don't know why. I felt weird asking because she was very short when I was like, you're leaving. She's like, yeah. Well, I'm like, oh.
You clearly are obsessed with her. She clearly is not.
No,
it's not mutual.
I feel like I'm best friends with everyone. Like, all I have to do is like exchange 2 sentences with you, and I feel like we have a foundation. So then when people don't treat me like I'm their best friend, I get very offended and confused.
Especially a doctor who has how many patients?
No, yeah, and then she'll ask me questions that I'm like, come on, doc. We already talked about this. Stop playing. But yeah, she's leaving, so it was my last appointment with her. But it was a good one because it was my first ultrasound, and everything is like clear. So I have like no damage or scar tissue or anything on the side of my thyroid that got taken out. And then the other side looks healthy and no lumps or anything. So that was pretty exciting. But I am sad that she's leaving.
We'll miss her.
Because now I got to see a man. A man. I don't want to see a man. I was telling Mandy when we were like at the coffee shop earlier, I was telling her that there's I think it's because I was raised in a family of like athletics was everything. So it was very much like, if you're going to cry, then we're going to leave. Like you either get up and you get back in the game or like, you know what I mean? That was just like the mentality was like rub some dirt on it.
Coaching.
So
for parenting.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
So So I don't know what it is, but when it comes to men, I definitely can feel myself being more like, oh, I just have to tough it out. And I've felt that in the doctor's office. Like, I'll just be like, oh yeah, it's fine, when really I'm like crying in pain, you know? So yeah, I feel like it'll be a good exercise for me to like still like advocate for myself. And even if there's pushback, to be like, no, like it is bad. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Even though everything's good right now, but just in general. I loved my team and now I'm sad. But hopefully he's cool.
Taryne has
just,
some
spiraling.
Male what do you say? How do you say that? I can't think of the
I don't know.
I can't think of the word.
I don't know. But yeah, no, I just like to be
Problems with men in authority.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
That's a true statement.
Well, honestly,
yeah.
same. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. I mean, I think it's something like a lot of women struggle with, the whole like,
well, in general,
intimidation of like men in an area of authority because of just past experiences or things you hear about. Like you kind of just always have your guard up a little bit. So
especially as a girl.
Yeah.
I do think just in general, it's hard for me to get past they're an expert.
Yeah.
And I should just trust what they say instead of questioning what they say.
And
because I'm like, well, they are a doctor. They know what they're doing, instead of being like, well, how do we know this is the right step for me?
Yeah.
You know?
And like what I've always struggled with is the pain scale.
I know.
Like
I'm
they're
not good
like,
at that either.
0 to 10. What are you like after my surgery? They're like 0 to 10. What are you feeling?
Yeah.
To me, a 10 is like
dying.
I'm screaming, like inconsolable, like I'm in so much pain, and I don't know how to find like the middle.
Yeah.
So after surgery, I was like a 5, and he was like, "Oh wow, that's good." And then he walked out, and my mom was like, "Taryne," because she knew I was like in a lot of pain, and I was like, "I just don't know, like I don't know what to say." And so then she made them come back and give me drugs, but yeah, I just like I struggle with that because I don't want to be. Like, I know I'm tough and I can handle a lot, but then when it comes to medical stuff, I think that can be a downside. Like,
yes,
that's not the place to flex. Like, if you're in pain,
they're literally there to help you. And if you're trying to tough it out, they're not going to help you.
So I can't, like, I've learned that the hard way with some things that got a lot worse because I downplayed it. And so I've learned to be more dramatic and like say how it is, you know?
Wow.
Anyways, wow. Medical advice with Taryne. New segment. I literally could start.
More like unpacking past trauma with Taryne.
Well, that too. Today's episode is brought to you by Indeed. Is hiring challenging? Yes. Do you love a good challenge? Also, yes. You need a hiring partner that can help you rise to the challenge. You need Indeed.
Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites searching for candidates with the right skills, Indeed's a powerful hiring platform that can help you do it all. They streamline hiring with powerful tools that find you matched candidates. And with Instant Match, over 80% of employers get quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment that they sponsor a job, according to Indeed Data US. One of the things I love the most about Indeed is that the candidates that you invite to apply are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it in search, according to US Indeed data. And Indeed gets you one step closer to hire by immediately matching you with quality candidates. And even better, Indeed's the only job site where you only pay for applications that meet your must-have requirements, not just paying for all of them. So join more than 3 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast.
Start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/unsolicited. Offer good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit now at Indeed.com/unsolicited. Just go to Indeed.com/unsolicited and support the show by saying you heard about it on this podcast. Indeed.com/unsolicited. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Well, let's get into my favorite part of the episode where we do a Tearing It Up, guys. You already know the drill, but this is the part where you guys send in funny stories and we get to laugh with you at you.
Yes.
Let's
At
get
you with
into
you.
it. This one is titled Sick Snoring Snick.
Snick,
That's
snoring.
wrong. That's wrong.
Snick, snack, snarl. What is that from?
Is that from something?
Snack, snarl. I think so.
I don't know.
I'm going to Google it.
We're going to roll right past that.
Okay.
This one is titled Sick Snoring and Doing Yoga. Let's get into it. Hello, Ashley and Taryne. It has taken me a while to get around to writing this, but I'm so glad I finally did. I have to say that your podcast makes my Mondays, so she puts in all caps, much better.
Sweet.
I turn it on right as I log into my computer. My name is Olivia, and you can say my name. I have a lot of embarrassing stories, so this probably won't be my last time writing in. She adds a laughing emoji. But let's rewind a bit to 2017. I was attending university and had signed up for this yoga/meditation class that was once a week in the evening. Oh my God. I think that same year I also was signed up for
I think a lot of people were signed
I don't
up
think
for
it was
something.
that year, but my first year of college, I signed up for a yoga meditation class that met like twice a week, and I freaking loved it. But this isn't about me.
Back on track, Ash.
She continues, I was going regularly, but struggling to get the whole meditation thing down, laying still on my back, palms facing up. I'm just not built to sit still, I guess. LOL. It is hard.
No, it is really
It
hard.
is really hard.
Yeah.
Anyways, the instructor told us that we were going to be doing a full body scan, which is basically where you lay down and focus on a particular body part until you have covered your entire body. And it is quite relaxing. It is.
I've
done that so many times.
I think I did that. Oh, we did that in the breathing thing we did for
It's a
Soul
very
Cycle.
common practice
It's
for
like
yoga.
feel heat. And but that's where I get so focused on that where I'm like, I don't think I feel it. And then I like can't get my mind out of like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Usually they'll have you like start with your toes, work up one leg, then start on the other leg.
Yeah.
At the toes, work up one leg. And you usually end with like your mouth and your neck
Yeah.
and your eyes. And usually by the time you get there, you are numb. Like I feel like I'm floating. If you do it correctly, like that's how you're supposed to
Yeah, I struggle.
kind of unplug. But if you don't do it often, it's really hard. Anyways, again, this isn't about me. So let's get back into it. It's quite relaxing, she says. During this particular class, I was dealing with some immune system struggles and had been recovering from mono. No, not from kissing someone, LOL, she adds. I didn't know I had it at the time. I was exhausted constantly and had almost no appetite, and it was the winter time making it even worse. Did I mention I was going to school in Montana?
Montana?
No, Olivia, you did not. She writes, I'm from California, so the weather change was quite drastic for me.
Yeah.
Adding to my weakened immune system, of course. That makes so much sense. So as the body scan was going on, I became quite sleepy. I guess meditation was finally working for me at this time. I felt myself drifting in and out of sleep and was trying hard to fight it, but I couldn't. I fell into, she puts in all caps, deep sleep, snoring and all. The hilarious part was that I could hear myself snoring and was thinking, wow, someone's fallen asleep.
Oh my gosh.
And I started giggling to myself thinking, oh, how embarrassing for this
It's
person.
like Inception.
To have like fallen asleep during class and snoring so loud. But it was me. And my snoring was so loud. I woke up to the instructor actually having to come over to wake me up and tell me that class had ended.
At least at least it wasn't like, hey, wake up because you're disturbing the whole
Right,
class.
right.
Like at least
They
it was
let
like,
you- they let
honey,
you-
like,
yeah.
you can go.
She continues, I heard people in the class saying, did you hear that person snoring? Yeah, who was that? It was so loud.
Oof.
Needless to say, I never showed my face in that class again. She just ditches.
Dang.
She like quits the class,
she's
doesn't
like,
come
I'm
back.
out.
She adds, but I did recover from mono and I'm able to laugh at the situation. Thank you for reading this. I hope both of you got a good laugh. Love you both so much and keep being amazing. Sincerely, Olivia. This makes me laugh
Dang.
so much because not only have I fallen asleep during yoga class back in the day when I used to go regularly, but I also have gone to multiple sound baths within the last 3 years where I have knocked out.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a snorer, and I've caught myself snoring because of how you're laying. Your mouth kind of has to open.
Yeah.
Because you're not really
It's,
like
very
propped
flat.
up by anything. So your mouth just kind of like falls open, especially if you're trying to practice like relaxation and meditation. The opening of the mouth is like an actual physical thing that people try to do to relax their jaw and their throat. So snoring is so common actually, but it is embarrassing when it happens to you.
Yeah.
I went to one recently with a bunch of celebrities. Taylor Lautner was there. And
Wow.
I snored.
Oh.
And everyone,
In front of
course,
Jacob?
I know. Everyone, of course, was
Wow.
like, oh, I heard someone snoring. They must have really gotten into it. And I just said it. I was like, I think that was me. Because I was like, the people next to me know it was me.
Of you.
So I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure that was me. I was just really into it, you know.
Bro.
Thanks.
Wow, I'm proud of you.
But yeah, it was embarrassing.
Yeah, I'm not a snorer,
Yeah.
so I can't relate. Just kidding.
The worst snorer I've ever heard in my life is my brother.
Okay.
Worst snore I've ever heard in my life. So loud. He could be 3 beds down, like 3 bedrooms down from you. You'll hear him and it sounds like he's next to you. It's so loud. And he knows it. My whole family knows it. This is a running joke. He to this day will not fall asleep on a plane.
Oh, yeah.
He's flown to Japan and would not sleep.
Has he tried like
tape
mouth
or something?
tape or
he
like
definitely has like some kind of
sleep apnea or something? Yeah.
It's tough. So he
Dang.
refuses to sleep while traveling because he's so embarrassed of how bad it is.
Dang, that's rough.
I know. Imagine having like a 16-hour flight, 18-hour flight and not being able to
The
sleep.
second I get on a plane, I'm instantly knocked out.
Yeah, I enter into like
Yeah. Any type of transportation. So like
car ride,
plane, train, back of a car.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
it's
instantly
the hum,
like,
it's the little vibrations. It just knocks you out.
no, for sure.
Well, thank you so much, Olivia, for writing in. If you guys have a funny story, please send it in.
Also, I Googled when I was like, snick, snack, snarl. What's that from? It's from Sword in the Stone.
Snick, snack.
It's one of his like spells. But I thought it said snarl, but it's snick, snack, snorum.
Snorum.
And I think
How funny.
that's
Full circle moment.
I
Snoring.
think that's when he turns him out. Oh yeah, when he's a squirrel and he turns him back into a human.
Snick, snack, snorum.
Sword in the Stone is a very underrated Disney movie. It's so freaking good. I have it on all the time. All the time. That and Robin Hood are always on. They're my background like happy movies.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay. Let's get into the first story. All right. This one is titled Entering My 20s in an Hour.
Ooh.
Which I think we're late.
Right.
So sorry about that. But
Welcome to your 20s.
happy 20th. Hi, ladies. My name is Nina, and I'm from Denmark. But before I write about me, I would like to say thank you for making this podcast. You truly inspire people. I don't think you understand how much it means for us as listeners when you discuss the different aspects of life, relationships, self-love, friendships, and so much more. In an old episode, you mentioned that we as listeners also could write in if there was a topic we wanted to be discussed. So here I am, and I believe that you haven't talked too much about it. As the title says, I'm writing this at 11 p.m. in my bed, and tomorrow in an hour, I will be 20. That led me to thinking about what the future will be like, and also just thoughts about entering my 20s. And tell me why I always have the urge to cry on my birthday. It's both happy and sad tears at the same time.
I do that too.
Yeah, I don't think I think my birthday. Usually I'm pretty happy because I'm look forward to like what like setting goals and fresh starts. Like I think I've talked about that before in here. I love like chapter holidays. So like New Year's, birthday, like that kind of stuff. The only time I'll get drawn into it is if I get too focused on the age and like that number doesn't match up with like a goal of mine. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I just turned 35. Like I thought I was going to have kids at 25. Like you know what I mean? It'll get like, if I get into that, maybe I'll get a little sad. But usually like I'm just so focused on like, yay, fresh start, new things to come. But I do understand that for sure.
I cried when I turned 30. It wasn't like a devastated cry, but I like sat down. 30 felt like very ominous to me and felt like very big to me. So I like sat down and journaled like 30 things I loved about myself, 30 things I wanted to work on for myself. And I just remember being like, super emotional wrapped up in that. But like,
Yeah.
I'm also always like, oh, I feel like I'm 21 still.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, me. And I look it. So, just kidding.
So duh.
So, okay. To be more specific, I think I would like you to talk about your 20s. What are your guys' tips for someone who is entering their 20s? What did you guys learn? Bonus info. In April, I went to France for my first solo trip and to try being more independent, and definitely want to do more of that. It was out of my comfort zone, but it was totally worth it. And as you guys like to see our faces, I've attached a photo of me in France on my solo trip. Have a great week. Lots of love, Nina. I'll show you her. Oh my gosh, this photo is, girl, your photo face is bigger than my actual face. I don't know why it's blown up so much. Oh. So I'm just seeing every detail of you, and I love it. She has the most beautiful brows.
Yeah.
Isn't she so cute?
Also great curly hair.
I know, right?
Is
that not bigger than my head?
Yes. When you said it, I thought you were like commenting on her having a big head.
Oh,
and
no.
I was like, Taryne.
I would never ask.
I know. But
I'm
then
insulted.
the way you said it, I hesitated and I was like, did she really? But
I said your photo face.
Yeah, you clarified.
Yeah. No. Just like how like sometimes you'll copy and paste something and it goes so big.
Yes.
And then other times it's like the size of a quarter and you're like, what happened?
It's when you paste versus attach.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
No, I love it though because I feel so close to you. Mm-hmm. I feel like you're literally here with me.
She's just staring
into
your
my
soul.
eyes. Yeah. I love this because I think obviously like with every email or anything we answer on the show, we definitely tie in our own experiences and like life experiences if we can relate to the topic or if we have someone we know that's been through the topic. But I feel like this is very much like geared towards like wanting to know more about like what we learned in our 20s. So I don't know how you want to do it because I did look up something that were tips of 17 things to start doing in your 20s. Mm-hmm. So I can either read through those and then we can like comment on if that's something or if we want to start fresh. What do you think?
I feel like normally we jump in with our opinion. So I think this is fun to like do it vice versa.
Cool. Well, but we will because she wants to know from us specifically and we will do that.
Perfect.
Okay. Let's freaking get into it. Okay. Number 1. Mm-hmm. So these are things you should like try to do in your 20s or try to start in your 20s. And this is from Business Insider. So usually I don't. The places I pull my facts from are weird websites. Let's be real. But this is
nice.
Official.
This is nice.
So the first one it says is to conquer your fears.
Ooh, agreed.
How do we feel about that? Does that trigger anything that you tried to do in your 20s?
I
feel like it can be taken like multiple ways. Like fears as in like something intimidates you or fear as in just like fear itself. Because that was me like trying to like not be led or let fear be in the
way.
In the
mix.
Equation of why I would or would not do something.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I think there's multiple ways that could be taken. I, in my 20s, traveled without an adult for the first time. Like planned everything myself, booked everything myself. Going to another country with like you and your sister, that's scary. You know? And like that's a type of fear. I also was insanely shy versus like I still consider myself, I'm definitely an introvert and I still consider myself a shy person, but I was painfully shy in my early 20s, whereas like I forced myself to like
and then
go talk to strangers. I forced myself to talk to like my classmates next to me that I didn't know in college and like join clubs and stuff like that, just in an effort to, I knew I needed to work on it, you know? But then there's also fears of like phobia fears. And there's also like more deep-seated fears to face. And I think the reason it's the best time to do it is in your 20s is because if you can set yourself up for a solid foundation in your 20s, then like your later years are going to be so much more of a breeze because you don't have to deal with those things holding you back.
Yeah. Let me just say this. Basically, when you get to a ripe old age of us in our 30s, I look back at my 20s and all of the things that I didn't do because I was afraid whether that's fear of failure, whether that's fear of rejection, whether that's fear of looking dumb, whatever it is. The amount of things that I did not do, and if I get too wrapped in that, I can get pretty sad because I now that I'm coming to a place where I'm finally like loving and accepting myself and stepping into my life with like authority because like I should. Now I'm like, okay, but like the older you get, the more like life gets in the way. Like you have more secure jobs, you have, you know, like more like family responsibilities, you have more whatever. And I mean, I'm still like not married, so like I don't have that, but a lot of people do start getting married in their later 20s.
Family responsibilities look different too.
Oh, fully. But there's so many things that I'm like, why didn't you do that? Like, why didn't you audition for that? Or like, why didn't you take those lessons? Or like, why didn't you talk to that guy? Like you had a huge crush on him. Like, why didn't you talk to him?
Or
like,
apply for that job.
Yeah, there's so many things I look back and I'm like, obviously now in hindsight, I'm thankful for the way things happened and it was meant to be. That was my path. But if I could go back and tell someone in their early 20s, I would say to not let fear have a hold of you. Like, go into things and realize that failure is like nothing but a push in a direction. So, and it's a way of checking things off. Cause now I look back and I'm like, I have what ifs and what ifs suck.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I would have looked back and been like, oh, remember that audition I totally like tanked?
Yeah.
Well, at least I knew that wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Then looking back and being like, what would have happened if I would have tried out for that?
It's better to know than wonder.
Yeah.
Right.
So I would say like I do love that, and I think fear can look like many things, but for me, I would encourage you to not let fear be something that holds you back from trying things, having experiences, you know?
I completely agree.
Woof. Okay. Okay, the second thing, turn your weaknesses into strengths.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Weaknesses to strengths.
I feel like we were kind of talking about this earlier. Me and Ash were, I was giving ideas on TikToks, and Ashley was like, she was like, you're so good at that. And she's like, you know, the older I've got, the more I've been like, you know what? You're really good at that, and I'm not. So like, you do that, and I'm gonna like be strong. But I think there is something about when you're younger and you find moments where you feel like you have a weakness in an area, you can use that to like spiral down to like, oh, I wish I was this, I wish I was that. Instead of, I think, being able to have control and power over, okay, like, you know what? I'm not a very social person, so I'm either going to work on that or I'm going to use that to be more intentional about having like smaller group things.
One-on-one things.
Yeah. So I don't know about the way it's worded is weird to me. Turn weakness into strength, but I feel like
I think I have a great side note for that. I think that and something that I have constantly struggled with and have had conversations with people about is that I'm a bad communicator. Like, I'm not good at conversating or articulating my thoughts or bringing things up that bother me in any type of form of communication, just in general. If it's about me, I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. End of sentence.
And like, it's something I've always struggled with, but I do think I'm a great listener.
Yeah.
And I don't think, do I need to work on communicating? Of course. But like, does that need to be my strong suit? No, it probably won't ever be. Like, that's just kind of how I am. But I do think something I'm really good at, and something that people have always told me, is I'm an excellent listener. So do I know how to like necessarily, I don't always know what to say. I don't always know like how to articulate myself, but I can sit there and be there with you in a way that those people that usually talk a lot maybe can't do.
Yeah.
And I do think that's a strength of mine.
No, fully. And I like, that's kind of a beautiful way to approach weakness. First of all, I think weakness just needs a different title, because I don't think anything, like, we all have our things. Like, I don't think it needs to be either a strength or weakness. But it is interesting, because I think more the advice I would give is to be able to acknowledge and accept areas that you might define as weakness, and then try to look for the flip side of where that could actually be a strength. Like exactly what you just said. Like, I I would say one of my weaknesses is I've never been great at the like being super motivated when it comes to like work, school, tasks, like that kind of stuff. Like that's never been an area of strength for me. But on the flip side, I've always been very strong relationally. Like I can mop the floor with like how I can like love on people and like relate to people, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's almost seeing like, okay, well, if that's not my area of strength, well, what did that make way for?
Yeah.
Like
that
it
clearly opened up a window somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's great. I think it's changing your mindset to not be so focused on it as a weakness, but be like, okay, is this an area of work like I can work on?
Yeah.
Or am I lacking in this way because I'm strong in another way? I think that's really cool. Today's episode is brought to you by Simply Safe. When an intruder threatens your home, every second counts. It's why we are so excited to tell you about the latest innovation from Simply Safe Home Security. It's called 24/7 Live Guard Protection, and it's made possible only by Simply Safe's new Smart Alarm wireless indoor camera. Now, with a Fast Protect monitoring plan, if an intruder breaks into your home, Simply Safe monitoring agents can actually see, speak to, and deter them through the camera, warning them that they're being recorded and that police are on the way. It's a game changer in home security.
The new camera is also the only indoor security camera that can trigger the alarm and instantly deter intruders with a built-in siren. And its advanced motion detection and vision AI can sense the difference between potential intruders and pets, which is crazy, guys, but also so helpful. As you guys know, I live alone and I have a hard time sleeping if I don't have my alarm set. That's why I absolutely love Simply Safe, because we all need a beautiful night's sleep. With 24/7 Live Guard Protection and the new Smart Alarm indoor camera works seamlessly as part of the entire Simply Safe security system to keep your whole home safe from break-ins, fires, flooding, and more. And with Simply Safe, professional monitoring costs under $1 a day, which is a steal, guys, and a lot cheaper than your everyday latte.
Right now, Unsolicited Advice listeners get a special 20% off any Simply Safe system when you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring. This huge offer is for a limited time. Visit simplysafe.com/advice. That's simplysafe.com/advice. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
I love that a lot. A friend of mine asked me once, she was like, what would you say your top, like, what would you say that you are a top like 10% in? And I remember like having to think about it really hard, because I was like, I have no idea. And then I came to the conclusion that I think I'm a great listener.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, I think I'm really good at listening.
Yeah.
Like top notch, better than most.
Yeah.
Can sit there, be with you, sit in that moment with you.
Yeah.
Second I open my mouth, I don't really know what I'm saying. But like, I'm there. I'm there.
Yeah.
And I'm listening and I'm invested.
I am there. Okay. Honestly, I think this is the most important one. Learn to love and accept yourself first. Mm-hmm. I think that's freaking valid. I love that they put the word first in there, because I think that the older you get, the more you realize it. But it really, your relationship with yourself is the starting point of your relationships with other people. Mm-hmm. If you cannot love yourself, it's going to be really hard for you to love everyone else, because we all think from a place of personal experience. Like, I've used this as an example so much, but you know how they'll say like, if a partner is cheating, they're usually the ones accusing the other partner of cheating, because that's where their mindset is seeing like what they do, and then they assume everything is that.
How easily they got away with it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I think that if you have a very shallow love and acceptance for yourself, it's going to be hard for you to like love and accept other people, or
1,000%
expect other people to love and accept you.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, especially at your age, are looking for others to show them love and acceptance so that they can feel that love and acceptance, because they don't know how to give it to themselves, which 90% of the time, and this is just me speaking on the girlfriends that like I grew up with and have known in the past, that leads to usually you dating a lot of like not great people, trying to get that love and validation from them because you don't know how to give it to yourself. And what does that result in? Your life very much being affected by strangers and other people instead of you being able to love and accept yourself and then make your own decisions in your life.
No, fully.
Because even though you still can make your own decisions, when you're dating someone or in a relationship with anyone, that affects your future.
Yeah.
You'll say maybe no to the job that's kind of far away because of you're dating this person. But like if you weren't dating people just to fill that void, then you might be more open to changes, or you might have someone who'd be like, hey, that's actually a great opportunity for you. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, it's just in how you operate. Like you're thinking about doing the best thing for yourself and loving on yourself and creating your own boundaries for yourself. And, you know, it's crazy because I feel like there's a theme in everything I've said, because I'm like, oh, I wish I would have known this. But at the same time, I don't regret anything that's happened. And I hope that brings you encouragement, anyone who's listening, who's younger. And I feel like a lot of people who are older could relate to this too. Life is going to happen the way it's going to happen. We try our best, but if you are a strong person and a resilient person, and everybody is, even if you think you're not strong, you are, because you've conquered things in your life. We always like get back up on our feet and keep going down whatever path we're on. So I think it's like funny because I can give this advice from personal experience. You know, like I wish I would have put the time and effort that I used in the last couple years of trying to fall in love with myself in my 20s. Abso-freaking-lutely. I would have been a freaking weapon, right? Like I was so cute and bubbly and like athletic and just like ready for the world. And if I would have had the confidence I have now, like watch out. I would have been like crazy, right? But the path that led me to this, I don't think I would have gotten there if I wouldn't have got as low as I got and really dug up a lot of like past things that I think had been holding me captive for a while. So it's one of those things where if I could tell my younger self, take the time to fall in love with yourself, to self-talk in a way that you are your best friend. So, you know, if I mess up in some area, in my head I'm going, okay, that you are a hot mess, but like you got this. Like, why are you stressing? You're fine. Like I talk to myself in the way that I would talk to a friend now. And that took years to figure out. But I don't regret my journey. But if I am talking to someone who has the chance to do it in their 20s, I would totally recommend being so freaking intentional. And it's not something where you just wake up and you're like, I'm going to love myself. It's doing research. It's being very, very disciplined and learning how to push through those moments where you're really down on yourself and like correcting thought patterns, all that stuff. It takes like a lot of time and effort. But I think if you can do that, you will literally be unstoppable in life.
Yeah. It's like the whole, like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger thing, right? So obviously, Taryne, what you went through made you stronger. If you could stop yourself from having to go through all that pain, of course you would.
Yeah.
And that would have gotten you to a great place. Maybe you wouldn't have been as strong. Maybe you would have been stronger in a different area of life. But like, it's a matter of like, you can avoid certain things at a certain age. Yeah. And by making certain choices, right? And that'll lead you to a beautiful place. But also looking back on like what has inflicted you and what has like dramatically changed your life or hurt you in a certain way, when you're able to get past that, you grow exponentially stronger from it. So there's beauty in both.
Oh, absolutely.
But to our writer, this is the time to like carve out your lane. like take the time to really do this now, because there will be, not like you should regret, but there will be less pain. I think less struggle if you can deal with that now.
No, absolutely. And I think too,
experience things now.
Yeah, it takes pulling away from things and pulling away from, you know, relationships you're getting validation from, expecting friends to do whatever. You know, like I think I said this on an episode before, but like I had a moment not long ago where I texted an outfit of mine to like some friends, and someone said back like, I feel like you could do something cuter. And I was like, oh, but I like this. And then I was immediately like, then why are you asking? Like, why do you need someone else to tell you?
Why does someone else need
cute?
to approve
If you
your
feel
outfit?
cute, like, go. And it was so empowering to just be like, you're right, Taryne. Like, let's go. We look cute. And so I think it takes a lot of time, but you'll see baby steps of progress if you prioritize it.
Yeah.
You have to prioritize it.
1,000%.
I think this one's so good. Learning to say no with confidence. Ash.
No means no. No.
Boundaries.
No.
Isn't that
Period.
something? I feel like that's something like it took you a while to get to that point.
I said yes to everything.
Yeah.
People needed help with something? Yes.
Yeah.
People needed me to go do this? Yes. People needed anything from me. I said yes, to the point where like my schedule would be so slammed that I would be putting off homework. I'd be putting off my own personal career to help other people. And at a certain point, I just was never good at saying no to people, especially without having given some like big elaborate excuse. To the point of sometimes even lying.
Yeah.
And I remember at one point, this was back when I was in college.
Dang, that's so good.
I remember being like, why did you make that up? That's not even true. And now I'm going to have to like tell them about how it went later. And I dug myself into this white, I guess you would call it like a white lie.
Yeah.
I dug myself into this pit and I was like, you could have just said no one needed an excuse. You could have just said no.
That's so true.
And it was from that moment on that I started trying to actively say no. And if I had an excuse, awesome. And if I felt like I wanted to share it, cool. But if I didn't have one, I just didn't want to.
Yeah.
I didn't need to give one. And I've been practicing that ever since.
That's so good.
I'm still not great at it, but
no, that's
I'm getting
so
better.
Good. No, literally last week you told me about a situation that you like drew a boundary. And I remember being like, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
Like, no, because it's hard. And that's such a good point. Like you don't need to give these big elaborate reasons. Like even if you like don't want to go to something because you feel just like mentally exhausted, like that's okay.
Yeah.
And there's certain things that are bigger that you would want to push through, but it's okay to like to say no to things, to say no to people. That's really good.
Even me this year, I got invited to, I'm not kidding, probably 9-10 weddings.
Yeah, you really did.
And I said yes to a lot of them, but I'm devastated to have to miss some, but I had to say no to others. And that's just where I'm at.
Yeah.
Can't do it all.
Ooh, I like this one. This is something I feel like I've talked about a lot on here. Learn to negotiate with politeness.
Yeah.
I really like that. It's something that like I feel like if you can learn how to communicate in a way where you're trying to have a successful outcome, like if I come to Ashley and I know that in my head, I know that I'm right about something and she's wrong about something. If I come in saying, hey, you're wrong and I'm right and here's the reasons I'm right. That's even if bottom line, black and white, you look it up in the dictionary, I'm right, she's wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. What's my point? My point is just to say I'm right, or is my point to like come to a conclusion with Ash?
Yes.
So if you can learn how to communicate where you're still speaking your piece, but you're also listening to what the other person has to say, letting them feel validated, trying to not just listen, but see from their side of why they think the way they do, and then be strategic about how you approach coming to a compromise or coming to, even if you are just wanting to, at the end, draw your boundary. It is a superpower. I'm telling you, like you will do better in jobs. You'll do better in friendships. You'll do better in conflict. Like if it's not, and I think the problem is people nowadays are so like, oh, I have to so like
personal.
I have to stand up for what I want and I need to be this strong and I need to be bold. And it's like,
it's not what I want. It's what's right.
Yeah.
In their heads.
Yes. And the thing is, will there be times for that? Yeah. Does it have to always be? No. Because at the end of the day, what outcome are you wanting? Are you wanting to solve something, or are you wanting to just stand on your soapbox and preach to someone? Because those are very different things.
Yes. I love that we're talking about this right now because, again, like we all know, I've said it multiple times, I'm not great at communication. I'm constantly looking for help podcasts on how to better my communication. I've mentioned him before, but this guy, Ed Milet, is like one of my, like, I I love him. I listen to him regularly.
No, he's
I
great.
sent my boyfriend this podcast episode because I listened to the whole thing, binged the whole thing. It was only 30 minutes long, easily digestible. Ed Milet had Chuck Weissner on his podcast, and this is titled Master the Art of Communication. And he goes into detail about like what to do to become a good communicator, and he plays this scenario where two of his friends, one's a right wing, one's left wing, and obviously politics is one of the like, aside from family things, I feel like politics is one of the hardest things to have a conversation about because it is viewed as what's right and what's wrong. Yeah. And apparently these two guys were having this very intense conversation, couldn't see side to side, and it was about welfare. And the guy, Ed Milet, was able to like interject and just be like, can you explain like why are you so passionate about, like, why are you getting angry? Why are you so passionate about this? Like, this doesn't affect you. You're a billionaire. Like, this has nothing to do with you whatsoever. Why are you like so emotional about it? And then that gave the space for this guy to go into detail about how he grew up on welfare.
Yeah.
And it changed the whole tone of the conversation. Yeah. So the guy that was left wing, that was so passionate, actually had been on welfare before. And that's why he was so angry at the guy who was right winged. And he was like, who didn't believe in welfare. Yeah. And that caused the right wing guy to see his side better. And it just diffused everything. Yeah. And all it took was for someone who wasn't emotional and wasn't getting hot headed to be like, I see you're very passionate about this. Do you want to tell us why? And that changed everything. Yeah. And I think what I took away from that was, it's funny, I say I'm a good listener, but then in that conversation, I probably would have been heated too. Yeah. But for why? Yeah. Like, just put your personal stuff aside and just like be a human talking to another human and give them the space to explain themselves, and you might actually see their side. You don't have to agree with them, but like, we could have a civilized conversation about it. Yeah. It's kind of a tangent that I just went on, but also listen to Ed Milet.
We've also talked about too, like, it's if you're in a heated conversation, you have to address the emotion before you can address the topic. Because if people are in a highly emotional state, they're not going to be able to hear what you have to say or say what they need to say in like a polite way. So it's a lot of time just addressing and just saying like, I can see like you're super upset, and like we don't have to keep talking about this if we want to talk about it again. Like, I love you and I don't want you to be upset, and like I'm trying to communicate just how I feel, but I want to do it out of love. You know what I mean? So it's learning how to be productive and not just spew. I worry about the next generation because all you see is people just talking about like, no, I'm standing up for myself. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. But it's spread into everything. Yeah. And I think there are some things that you do need to be passionate and stand up for. And then there are other things that it's just a conversation you can have, and it doesn't need to tear someone down to say what you believe, you know?
Yeah.
Oof, I love that one.
If you can learn to communicate like that in your 20s.
This is a good one. I feel like I watched you go through this. Forgive yourself.
Ooh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think anything that you hold on to from your past or things you've done or things that literally anything, things that you choose to hold on to and bring into your future are always going to hold you back from living. Yeah. Right? Like, I think it's better to switch the narrative and whatever that thing is, learn from it. Yeah. Like, let's deal with it now instead of pulling it like a burden and trying to go through life carrying this burden, which sounds miserable. No, yeah. Which is a struggle, like, is going to hold you back from living your life. Why not deal with it like in the moment? Write down what you can learn from that, and then like, ditch the burden and like take the truth that you learned from it with you. Yeah. It's so much easier.
It's so tied to like your self-love and self-worth too. Because I know like when we first became friends, there was like this specific area that you were just very down on yourself about. And from just stuff in the past. And I remember like there was a couple times we had like these really deep conversations. And there was this one time like you said a comment, and I remember I just started crying because I immediately could see how stuff from your past had totally impacted the way that you viewed yourself. And me, as someone who like loved you and thought the best of you, it was so hard for me to see how much you were still like punishing yourself for stuff.
Yeah.
And it's been awesome to see you like get freedom in that area. Like it as a bystander, it was like so nice to see you become empowered in that. But I think that there's a lot of things that if you hold on to things and you don't forgive yourself for it, you are going to self-sabotage. You're going to punish yourself. You're going to accept less than what you deserve.
You don't deserve this because you did this, or you are this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think taking the time to forgive yourself and to move on, just like you would forgive someone else that had wronged you.
Just
if you
like you would
them.
want someone to forgive you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a really good one. Oof. Wow. This is getting deep. Oh, this is a good one. Okay. Don't be afraid to change directions.
Yeah. Pivot.
You
have to learn how to pivot.
Yeah.
That's
and
life
there's
is
nothing
about
wrong
pivoting.
with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I also, just in general, I think I'm going to go career-wise now. But I think in the past, we were celebrated for working at the same job in the same business for 30 plus years.
Yep.
Like that was such a thing to be admired. Like, oh my God, you worked at your corporation for 30 plus years. Wow. That's admirable. You got the gold watch, you know? But in a weird way, like that means you're only good at one thing.
Yeah.
Or you only have succeeded in like one area of life where I think something I'm grateful for, like our generation and this next generation, is that I think now what most people admire is like the ability to do multiple things and like, oh yeah, I was at this company for 5 years where I learned how to do this. And now I'm going to go to this company and learn how to do this and hopefully take it to my dream company and show them that I can do all of these things, you know? And I think that's a much more desirable look coming from a business perspective. And I also think that's a more desirable life to have like tried and learned and grabbed and like tried this avenue. And it's the same thing like Taryne said earlier. I would have rather tried and failed than to have wondered if I should have gone down this path instead.
No, absolutely. And some people are lucky and they go straight into their dream job that they're passionate about. And yeah, you should invest in that for however long you want. But I don't think a lot of people like did what we had to do. Like we had to work, like we worked in restaurants. We worked like, you know, like I was an intern for my school.
At a hotel,
I worked at my grandpa's
college.
company. Yeah. So, and all of those things taught me amazing people skills, taught me like how to get yelled at and stand with a smile on my face and be polite. It taught me what it felt like to get taken advantage of. It taught me like a lot about watching other people and their work ethic and what I didn't want to do. So it's like there was so much that I learned from, but I think a lot of people get stuck in an area of life they're miserable in because they're too embarrassed to admit that like that's not what they want to do and to go into something else. And I think like I changed my major like 50 times. I went through a plethora of jobs. I was like always changing and people would always be like, oh, now you want to do this, ha ha ha. But at least like I was being open with myself about what I wanted to do.
And realistically, not going into debt for a degree that you weren't going to use necessarily, you know?
And if you did get that degree and now you're like, I don't want to do that. Well, guess what? Like all of the skills you learned in that degree, you can apply in a way to whatever you go into. So, and a lot of places just want you to have a degree. They don't care what it is, honestly. But I think changing directions, I would say at least give yourself the freedom to dream and be open to other possibilities.
Yeah.
You don't have to jump into anything, but if you start to get that like feeling in your gut of like, I don't know if I want to be at this job anymore, or I don't know if I want to have this be my major anymore, I don't know if I want to finish my master's, whatever it is, let yourself at least be able to sit and either with yourself or a person who's safe, just dream and think about like, okay, well, what would be the pros and cons? Like what's something I would I would gain from this? What's like the risks, like whatever it is? Because if you don't at least let yourself be open to it, then you are going to have that just gut feeling where you're like, well, what if? So at least let yourself be open. And sometimes you'll think about it and you'll be like, actually, I'm good where I'm at. You know what I mean? Or sometimes you might like be led to a different direction, but it's not embarrassing. It's not a failure. No. It's a change of direction. That's all it is. That's literally all it is. I talked about this
a couple episodes ago. But when I lived at home in Riverside, I was dating this guy. I never thought I was going to leave. And I thought I was going to go into hotel management. We wouldn't even be here.
No,
this podcast wouldn't even be a thing if I hadn't pivoted and been like, actually, I think I'm going to transfer to this 4-year and see where that takes me. And did I have a future planned out there? No. Was it scary leaving what seemed like a very like solid future? That I had worked like 4 years in and had a foundation and experience in. I was going to go do something I'd never done before. And I ended up in YouTube, which was brand new at the time. So that had no security. And that was a crazy, scary step. But like, now I have a podcast with my best friend in LA. Like that wouldn't have even been a thing. So we got to pivot, you know?
Yeah, you got to pivot.
You got to be open to pivot.
Yeah, open to the pivots. There's so many.
Should we get merch that says pivot?
There's so many other good ones, but I feel like we're running out of time. But this one I thought was cool. It says, avoid thinking of your 30s as a stopping point for fun things. Oh, this is so freaking good, you guys.
Yes.
Because I felt like by the time I hit 30, I have to have done everything fun. I have to have my life put together. I have to be married, start having kids, all of these things. And I'm not going to lie, that put a ridiculous amount of pressure on my 20s because all I was thinking about was like, oh my God,
28. Oh my God,
30's coming. Oh my God, 30's coming. I'm telling you right now, my 30s have been some of the best years of my entire life. And I still feel so young. I still feel like I have so much life and so much potential and so much opportunity to come. And I wish that I would not have put all of that pressure on me and I would have just enjoyed taking my time in areas because surprise ending, I ended up not getting those things that I was trying to work so hard for. But like I would have just not stressed the whole time. Like I would have just enjoyed it. And like even my parents just got into like biking and like they're going to get a camper now and they're thriving. Like life does not stop because of a number that you associate with how old you are.
Yes.
So all of the pressure and the timelines and the everything that you put on yourself, take it off because it doesn't apply to you. Your timeline is going to be different than mine, than Ashley's, than anyone in your life. And just step back and just be in the lazy river of life, you know, just get in your freaking floaty and just let the water like pull you. But don't be like trying to freaking swim past people or like hold on to it while you're getting drowned like from the current. Like just let yourself go and then like open your eyes to like everything else that you can put your time, your energy, your space into and enjoy than wasting your time worrying about trying to reach a goal that like who said it? Who set this goal
that you're
for you?
Comparing to someone else who's not in your lane of life.
Unless the Almighty himself said, do this by this time, like then no, like just take your hands off the wheel, like let yourself just like go and enjoy life because 30s are amazing. I love my 30s. Like I'm thriving. And if you guys think we're cool, because obviously you listen to our podcast, well then like, come on. You know what I'm saying?
I have a fun fact.
Yes.
That changed my life.
Hit me.
When I heard it in my 20s. So this is very applicable for you. The Queen herself, Viola Davis, didn't start acting until she was 50.
Yep.
50.
Yep.
That woman got married, had kids, raised multiple kids, got them through college before her acting career took off.
Yep.
And look at her acting career.
Yep.
She's incredible. She's literally one of my favorite people. If I could invite 3 celebrities to dinner, she's on that list.
Yeah.
Like I've had the biggest girl crush on her since she started her career. And that is the most inspiring thing to me because clearly she had a passion and a love for acting that she put on hold to have kids and to have a family. She wanted to raise them correctly. She wanted to be there with them step by step, every step of the way. And she did the damn thing and then went and chased down her dream. So 30's young, 50's young. Guess what? You can start stuff in your 60s. My dad just started a cycling club a couple years ago. Loves it. His life has changed. He's healthy now. He's like all like fit as a fiddle and doing all these 100-mile races, which his back was literally like shredded to pieces back like literally 3 years ago. He couldn't do anything. He's a different person. And all that took was like him being open to the lazy river of life. The lazy river of life just giving him something, which was a bicycle.
So a bicycle just floated down and he was like, I'm going to get on that bicycle. The rest is history.
Yeah. So we got to learn to pivot and we got to learn to just take what life gives us and be open to new things.
No, it's so true.
And then you too can be Viola Davis.
Yes. Basically, the bottom line is your 20s are precious, but so will your 30s be. So will your 40s be. But if you can get a jump start on learning how to live a life that is being the best version of yourself,
having those boundaries, knowing what they are,
drawing your boundaries, learning to love yourself, learning to be kind to others, and just be open to what life has to give you, you will have a head start.
You
on
will
most people.
be Viola Davis.
But if you're like 60 listening to this, same to you, bro. Like, honestly, it's never over until the, what's that thing? Until the fat lady sings.
I was just talking to a friend of mine whose grandpa is turning 100 in a month. 100.
Wow.
Let's stop and just like.
No, it's nuts.
His middle age was actually 50.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Actually 50. And like in the grand scheme of things, they are saying like our middle age is like growing. Like it's getting older. It's no longer, I think it used to be like, I think in the 20s, it was like the middle age was like 28 or something like that. We're now like, I think 33, I think is now like our considered our middle age, which means it's getting longer. Her grandpa's turning 100. 50's young. You can get a lot done. So like we need to stop like capping ourselves.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like life,
let's rip the ceiling off and
you
just
can
go
enjoy
for it.
life no matter what stage you're at. So, wow, honestly, I didn't think this was going to turn into this, but it was meant to be it.
If I was 20 listening to this, I'd be taking notes.
Honestly, same. Like I wish I could just like Back to the Future it and just like be friends with my younger self and just be like, honey,
with the almanac,
get this area together, like
going to all the sports games.
Yeah. When I met certain people, just being like, no, run. Yeah. Don't waste your time on people
just
who
being
don't.
So rude to them when they say hi. You're like, no.
Like, don't waste your time and effort on people and things that don't uplift you. It's just like not worth it. So hopefully this helped some of you. If you have people in your life that are in their 20s or just in a life chapter and need some encouragement, send this to them.
Perfect.
And we love you guys so freaking much.
You guys already know the drill. If you made it, oh wait,
I didn't say it yet, Ash. If you made it to the dad joke,
Taryne, you want to give us a dad joke?
Yeah, I would, Ashley. I never call you Ashley.
Yeah, who's that?
I don't know. Okay. What do you call a blind dinosaur? Eyes.
That's stupid. I wouldn't say that.
What would you say?
Blind dinosaur. I don't know.
Do you think he saw us?
Dumb.
So good.
All right, guys. You already know the drill. If you made it to the dad joke, we love you the mostest. Send us an email if you have something that you want advice on or a funny story that you want to laugh with us along with you. If you want to hear us laughing at you too, send that in also. Also check out our merch website and follow us on socials at Advice Unsolicited Pod. We'll talk to you next Monday.
Love you all. Bye.